and that there was a match insofar as this firearm that was seized under Cleveland case 9602-2015 with the exhibit that was found in this case before court. In other words, that firearm was concluded that it was the same firearm that discharged the bullet that was found at the crime scene in the matter before court.
Ngaphambili kokuthi ke ngiqhubekeke angisho nje ukuthi ke nami ke kunestatement esifungele phecelezi ke affidavit engayifaka ke mayelana ke nokwathola uyena. Okwesibili ke futhi ke nokuthi ke uma ke esekwenzileke lokho nokuthi wathola ke ukuthi impela ke isibhamu lesi kwicala noma ke esasitholiwe kuleli cala lase Cleveland uma ngabe sesiphathaniswa ke kubhekwa ke inhlamvu eyatholakala kwindawo yesigameko kuleli icala liwu636 kwatholakala ukuthi impela ke isona leso sibhamu leso esadubula ke leyo nhlamvu leyo.
My Lord, I further received a report that the firearm will be taken back to Cleveland because that's where it was booked out from as the examination was concluded.
Okunye futhi ke ngathola ngombike ngawuthola kwakuwukuthi isibhamu leso sesizobuyiselwa khona ke eCleveland seqediwe kokwenziwa umsebenzi kusona ke ngoba yila esasigcinwe khona noma esatholwa khona.
And when I say Cleveland, my Lord, I'm referring to the police station.
Uma ngithi ke eCleveland ngikhuluma ngayo ke police station.
My Lord, I then made a request that the Lieutenant Colonel Mangena should meet me there with the said firearm at the police station.
Ngase ngenza isicelo ke ukuthi uLieutenant Colonel Mangena ahlangane nami ke noma sihlanganeke khona kuleyo police station leyo.
We met, my Lord, where the process was followed by him in terms of booking the firearm back in a sealed forensic bag. In other words, book it into the SAP-13 with a sealed forensic bag.
Sahlangana ke khona ke wase ke inqubo ke leyo yenziwa ke ukuthi ke isibhamu asiyasibuyisela ngokuthi ke sibhalwe ke noma sibhuke.
Statements that he made and I also made a statement with regard to this chain, my Lord.
Ila khona ke manje esengikhulume naye khona ke uLieutenant Colonel Mangena ngoba ngazi ke ukuthi obviously la asebenza khona ke banazo ke khona ke i-safe noma ke ama-safe la angasigcina khona ke ila khona ke asesayine khona kwi-diary yami.
Just a minute.
And sorry, my Lord, I can also add, because I just remembered now, that when I made a statement in terms of the chain of this event that I'm referring to, I made a copy of the diary and I attached it with my statement. So it should form part of the disclosure discovery that was given to the defense. So it was my statement indicating the events. I made a copy of the diary with these details and attached it. But I do have the original diary in any event, my Lord.
Engakusho ke futhi ngengezeke kuloko sengikushilo ke ukuthi ke istatement engasenza ke mayelana naloko okwenzeka ke ngase esingxenyeke yalo idokodo ngenza icopy ke ye diary yami ke engicabanga ukuthi nabo abameli ke nabo ke bakuthola lokho kodwa ke nginayo ke I diary yami mina.
Now, except for the entries in your diary, was there any documentation completed there at Cleveland Police Station?
Yes, indeed, my Lord.
Regarding the handling of the firearm?
Absolutely, yes, my Lord. So, Colonel Mangena would have, that is a procedure. He booked it in at the SAP-13, and then I book it out at the SAP-13. So, I do recall that he signed it in with the forensic bag number that it had sealed, and then I booked it out under that forensic bag number. So the last entry would have been me booking it out, and then I gave it to Colonel Mangena.
Yebo ke khona ke esabhala noma la esabhala khona ke ngoba ke inqubo ke leyo kufanele kwenzeke kanjalo ke ukuthi yena ke uLieutenant Colonel Mangena wasayina uma esesibuyisela ke isibhamu lapho kuyona iSAP-13. Mina ke uma ngisikhipha ke nami ngasayina uma okugcina ke ukusayina lapho kwakuyimina ngisikhipha ke sengisinikeza yena.
I just want to show you Exhibit X2 from Cleveland Police Station, which is a firearm register. If you can refer to the 27th of July, 2020.
Yes, my Lord. So the first entry, my Lord, In terms of the ACP 13, it's number 67, and it says under case Cleveland case 960215, and it indicates the items 1 times 9mm black pistol CZ75 Col Luger serial number filed off, 28 times live rounds, 3.31 times empty magazine, all items sealed in a forensic bag number SNFFSF or E 385-2083. Then the date of the 27th, my lord, of July 2020, items 3.1 to 3.3 booked out by Lieutenant Colonel Mangena, and then there's a signature of the colonel, and then 2007-27, item 3.1 to 3.3, Colonel Gininda, head office, booked out for case Phosphorus 636 of 10/2020, and then I signed. Now on top, my lord, they've also attached a copy of my appointment certificate to say I'm the one who signed for these items.
Lana ke okubhaliwe ngaphansi kwakhe ke item 67 Cleveland case 9602 ka 2015 kuyasho ke ukuthi ke i9mm eyodwa emnyama ngombala ipistol iC275 Col Luger, babhala ke nokuthi iserial number ke ingasekho isuliwe ke, nokuthi futhi ke ama rounds awu 28 atholakala kuyona ke, kanye futhi ke nemagazini eyodwa engenalutho. Konke ke lokho kwafakwa ngaphakathi kwisikhwama sezobufakazi esinenamba ewu FSE 385083, bese kuthi ke nge2707-2020 ubhala ke item 3.1 kuyofica ke ku 3.3 ukhishwe ke uyena sorry,
no, my apologies, not booked out, my lord, is booked back. So the first entry on 2020-07-27, the first entry by Lieutenant Colonel Mangena, where he signed, it says items 3.1 to 3.3 booked back. So he was bringing the items back by Lieutenant Colonel Mangena, and then the next entry on the same date of the same item 3.1 to 3.3, it is then booked out by me, my lord, under Phosphorus 636 of 10/2014.
Ulungisa ke iphutha la ukhanya athi ulenzileke ukuthi 2020-07-27 item 3.1 kuyofica ke ku 3.3 buyiselwa ke manje uyena uLieutenant Colonel Mangena, kwase kuthi ke ngazo i27 ku July 2020 zona ke wona ke lawo ma items u3.1 kuyofica ke ku 3.3 ase ekhishwa ke noma ke ebukwa out uyena uLieutenant noma uColonel Gininda ngaphansi ko case uPhosphorus 63610 of 2014.
Yes.
Thank you. You can continue. We'll come back to Exhibit X13C, the report of Lieutenant Colonel Mangena that you referred to. We'll come back to that in a while.
My lord, in essence, I think thereafter it was really the obtaining of statements, in my recollection, my lord, as I said, that were in relation to implicating some of the accused individually and sometimes collectively. And then thereafter, and I'm trying to summarize, my lord, then the docket was taken to the DPP for their decision, my lord, in light of the evidence that we had.
Emuva kwalokho ke kwakusekuthola ke istatement ke nazibangishilo ke ukuthi ke ukuthi ke ku thweswe amacala ke abasolwa ke ngamunye noma ke ngokuhlanganyela ke ngizama ke ukuthi ke ngikufinyezeke lokhu kwase ke emuva kwalokho ke kuthathwa lona ke idokodo lihanjiswa ke kubashushisi ke ukuthi ke bathathe isinqumo ngokobufakazi ke esasesinabo.
Yes, we just want to show you Lieutenant Colonel Mangena's affidavit, which has been handed as Exhibit X13C. If you can look at paragraph 9.
Yes, my lord. So paragraph 9 reads as follows. I examined the fired bullet mentioned in paragraph 3.1 and 8.2 and compared the individual and class characteristics marking transferred to them by firearm components during the firing process using a comparison microscope and found 9.1. There is sufficient class and individual characteristics markings present on both exhibit and test bullets mentioned in paragraph 3.1 and 8.2, which indicates that the bullet mentioned in 3.1 was fired from the pistol mentioned in 7.1.
Paragraph 10 ke ufundeka ngalendlela uyena Lieutenant Colonel Mangena ukuthi ke solileke sengibhekileke inhlamvu lezo ezadutshulwa ke ekhulunywa ngazo ku paragraph 3.1 kanye naye ke u8.2 sengiqhathanisa futhi ke lama characteristics ehlangene futhi nangokwahlukana kwawo ke nama markings andluliselwa ke kuzona isona isibhamu noma ke uma ngabe sekudutshulwa ke ngathola ke ngisebenzisa yona ke i-microscope yokuqhathanisa ngathola ukuthi ke kuna aneleke ama class kanye nalawo ke ahlukanisiwe ama individual characteristics kuma markings lawo akhona ke kuzona zoyimbili izibithi kanye futhi nenhlamvu le eyasetshenziswa ukuthi ke kutestwe ke ngayo ekukhulunywa ngayo ku paragraph 3.1 kanye no 8.2 okusho ukuthi ke inhlamvu ke ekhulunywa ngayo ku 3.1 yadutshulwa ke iphuma kusona ke isibhamu noma ke ipistol eshiwo noma ekhulunywa ngayo ku 7.1.
Thank you. Is there the report that you referred to earlier on?
Yes, this is the report that I'm referring to, my lord.
Wona ke umbiko lona bengikhuluma ngawo ngaphambilini.
And that is in relation to the second one that made the conclusive finding that this is the firearm that was used in this matter, my lord.
Futhi ke ile umbiko wesibili ke oshilo ke noma owasho ke ukuthi ke kwakuyisoda lesi ke isibhamu esadubula leyo nhlamvu.
Okay. Now, in terms of the timelines, when was the docket submitted to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions?
My lord, one will have to really look, but it would have been, I think maybe in July, but before even the final submission, my lord, there was a prosecutorial engagement. So one was getting instruction from time to time with the prosecution, but prior to the decision, I think it was somewhere in October, and then an indictment was received, and we moved accordingly as I've testified in terms of the applications of the warrants of arrest.
Ngabe ke manje ke uma idokodo selidluliswa ke manje njengoba ushilo ukuthi nasinisa nilihambisa ku office labashushisi ukuthi bathathe ke isinqumo ke cabanga ukuthi ke ngoJuly kodwa ke kuzofanele umuntu ahambe ke ayobheka ukuthi ninike ngoba ke kwakukhona ke ukukhulumisana noma ingxoxo ezazikhona ke phakathi kwethu kanye nabo ke abashushisi ke ngaphambilini kokuthi ke kufinyeleleke kwisinqumo ke noma ke ngo-October kanje ke kuyiwe ke enkantolo sekumanje selikhishiwe ke ukuthi ke icala leli ke seli ngaya enkantolo.
My lord, another thing that I forgot to mention is that during the course of the investigation, although there were no positive results, but one I think must place it on record that we also embarked on a process where there was examinations in terms of measurements by Lieutenant Colonel Mangena of the accused, because one was trying to see, based on their expertise, if they can narrow down as to which accused in terms of their height may have discharged the firearm. But that exercise, I know it was done on accused number 1. I was present.
Just a minute.
Sorry.
Okunye futhi ke engakushilo noma ke engicabanga ukuthi ke kuzofanele ke ngikusho ke noma ke imiphumela ke ngekho ke lapho ukuthi ke inala ebakuqala khona ke abasolwa ke ubheka ukuthi ngaba ukuphi ke okungayenzeka ukuthi kwaba uyena ke owadubula ke ngiyazi ukuthi kwenziwa ke lokho kuyena umsolo wokuqala ngangikhona.
And then with regard to number 2, I was not present, my lord.
Yes, just give the date break. Start from the beginning. How did this process commence? Who was the first accused to be
My lord, in
measured?
terms of the dates, I will really have to look, but I do know that the first person that was measured is accused number 1.
Kuzofanele ke ngibheke ke ama date ke ukusho ukuthi ke kodwa ke ngiyazi ukuthi owokuqala ke ukuthi abheke noma kalo ke kwakumsolo wokuqala.
And that came about, my lord, as I said, during the investigation process. One was trying to see as to whether we can narrow down in terms of specifics that this is the most probable suspect who may have discharged the firearm in terms of the height, the projection of the bullet, how it entered the body and exit. Those were the expertise one was trying to get from the experts.
Esasizama ukuthi sikutholeke kubona ke ongoti ubheka ke ukuthi kwangaba ubani ke uma ubheka ke inhlamvu ke nola isibhamu sashaya khona ukungena kwenhlamvu nokuphuma kwenhlamvu ke ukuthi ubani okwangenza ukuthi kwaba uyena owadubula.
So, my lord, as I said, I don't recall the date, but I do know that accused 1, I was present. He was at the police station. Then he was measured by Lieutenant Colonel Mangena.
Kodwa ke ama dates angwakhumbuli ke kodwa ngiyazi ke ukuthi ke kwakumsolo wokuqala kwaqala ngaye kwakuse police station ekala uyena Lieutenant Colonel Mangena.
So which police station?
I think it's Valera, my lord, if I recall correctly, for accused number 1. Valera SAPS.
Ngicabanga ukuthi ke kwakuyiValera police station kuyena ke umsolo wokuqala.
Yes.
I further do know, my lord, that the report I got, that exercise didn't yield any.
Yes. Yes, we'll get to the reports.
Oh, we'll get.
Go
All right.
To all the.
All right. The
accused
second
and-
accused, my lord, was. The second person was examined or measured was accused 2, but as I said, I was not there. I simply made the arrangements with Lieutenant Colonel Mangena, so I was not present when he was measured.
Ngiyazi ke ukuthi owesibili ke kwakuwumsola wesibili kodwa ke ngangingekho ke lapho ngakhulumisana nje naye ke uLieutenant Colonel Mangena ukuthi ke aqhubekeke ngalo msebenzi kodwa mina ngangingekho.
Do you remember the date, perhaps?
It would have been somewhere in June, my lord. I don't remember. I was not there, but I do know that I made arrangements that he should. I think Sergeant Mokhane that must assist, my lord, in that, my lord.
KwakungoJune kodwa ngangingekho ke lapho kodwa ngakhumbula nje ngithi ke uSergeant Mokhane alekelele lapho.
Yes, June of which year?
June 2020.
June ka 2020.
If I recall correctly, my lord, it could be the 17th, but I stand under correction of June 2020, my lord.
Kungenzeka ukuthi wangeyi17 zika June 2020 kodwa ke kungenzeka ukuthi ke ngenza ke iphutha lapho.
Yes.
And that is insofar as accused number 2. Then the third accused, I think his, my lord, was done on the 30th of June 2020 in Johannesburg prison.
Kwakuwumsolo wesibili ke lawo owesithathu ke umsolo wakhe ngicabanga ukuthi kwakungeyi30 zika June 2020 ejele laseGoli.
Yes. What happened during that occasion?
My lord, insofar as accused 3, what I remember, Colonel Mangena was there, and then I had Sergeant Zia with me who assisted with the obtaining of the DNA from accused 3.
Sergeant
Zia. Yeah.
Kuyena ke okwenzeka ke wayekhona uLieutenant Colonel Mangena kanye ke uSergeant Siya ekuyena ke ngamcela ukuthi alekeleleke ngolibofuzo iDNA.
I do also recall, my lord, that on that day, accused 3's warning statement was obtained by me, and the DNA was also taken and the measurements taken, my lord.
Engikwaziyo ke ukuthi ngalelo langa ke istatement ke sofise noma ke iwarning statement yathathwa ke kena ke noma ithathwa yimina ke kumsolo wesithathu kanye futhi nayo ke iDNA le engikhuluma ngayo mention 3
Measurements.
kanye nokuthi akalwe futhi.
Yes. Who obtained samples for DNA purposes?
It was Sergeant Zia, my lord.
KwakuwuSergeant Siya uyena ke owathatha ke ama sample la olibofuzo noma phecelezi ke iDNA.
And the measurements?
They were taken by Lieutenant Colonel Mangena, my lord.
Umuntu ke owameasure ke noma ke mkala ke kwakuwuLieutenant Colonel Mangena.
Yes. What happened during the taking of the measurements?
My Lord, not much of significance. The only thing that I recall, because I led the team, so I had to do the introductions, in other words, identifying myself to the accused, purpose of the investigation, and obviously who's going to play which role. I led that introduction, my Lord.
Okwenzeka ke lapho ke mina ke okwami kwakuthi nje ngethuleke ukuthi ngiubani ngizethule mina ngisho ke nokuthi ngobani ke nala engihamba nabo ukuthi ubani ozokwenzani.
I also know, my Lord, that there was some discussion, but I don't want to quote not verbatim between Colonel Mangena and accused 3 when it came to the measurement on the issues of examining his legs. But that was between them, my Lord. So, and I don't want to misquote what exactly was said, but I know that there were discussions or talk between Lieutenant Colonel Mangena and accused number 3.
Ngiyazi ke ukuthi ke kukhona ke okwakhulunywa ke noma ke okwashiwo ke phakathi kwakhe ke uLieutenant Colonel Mangena kanye naye ke umsolo wesithathu ke mayelana ke nokwenza lokho ke ukuthi amkaleke, kodwa angifuni ukuthi ngikhulume engasikona okwashiwo.
Same with Sergeant Zia. There was interactions between him and accused 3, but as I said, my Lord, I would rather not. I think they're more suitable to say what really transpired, except to say I know that they had discussion with accused number 3.
Naye ke uSergeant Zia nalapho angifuni ukuthi ngisho ukuthi kwasho yini ke eyakhulunywa ke ibona ke bangakusho, kodwa ngiyazi ukuthi nje bakhuluma ke uSergeant Zia kanye naye umsolo wesithathu.
And then I also spoke to him, my Lord, in relation to the warning statement. This is now accused 3, my Lord.
Nami ke ngakhuluma ke naye mayelana ke nestatement lesi noma lokubizwa ngokuthi ke warning statement.
Yes.
And these discussions were individual, my Lord, because we wanted to deal with this thing categorically. So it was not just once off. So one will do his part, wrapped up. I think I was the last one to deal with the warning statement. So they did this individually.
Konke ke lokhu kwangakenzwa ke ngokuhlanganyela ukuthi sezinto eyodwa ngesikhathi sisodwa. Ngiyazi ukuthi mina ke ngangokugcina ke wayeqala ke omunye aqedeke ngaloko akwenzayo bese kulandela ke omunye.
Yes. Yes, my Lord. Then what I recall, then the next person accused that was visited is accused number 5. He was incarcerated at Kalagabusha prison at Impangin in KZN, my Lord. I think it would have been the 1st of July 2020, according to my recollection.
Olandelayo ke umsolo ke ekwayiwa kuyena ke kwakumsolo wesihlanu ke yena ke wayegcinwe eKalagabusha kuyijele laseKalagabusha empangeni eKZN.
My Lord, we tried to do the same exercise, and I think I testify about it during the trial, within trial, to say we accused 5 did cooperate insofar as talking to me. I think insofar as giving me his cell number, certain details, but when we wanted to do the formalities, measurements, fingerprints, all those things, and actually even noting the warning statement, he did not. He just walked away. So we didn't do anything there, except that we were there, and Lieutenant Colonel Mangena was present as well.
Ngokukhulumisana ke ukuthi akhulumeke nami wakwenza ke lokho umsolo wesihlanu ke ukuthi akhulumeke nami anginikeze futhi ke namanamba akhe ke, kodwa ke uma seqala ke sekufuneka eqale ke manje kwenziwe ke lokho esasikiyeleke lapho ukuthi ke akalwe ke kuthathwe ke ama fingerprints akhe ke yilawa vele nje wahamba khona ke akuzange kwenzeke lutho, naye ke uLieutenant Colonel Mangena wayekhona lapho.
We'll come back to the issue of the cell number that was given to you. Were there any samples obtained for DNA purposes?
Sure. I don't remember, my Lord, because like I said, insofar as the discussion talking to accused number 5, we talked well, but when we wanted to formalize the process, and then whether you take fingerprints or you start writing or you must sign, that is where he was uncomfortable and he walked away. So I don't recall if it was done that day, my Lord. I don't have a recollection, my Lord.
Nanje bangishilo ke ukuthi ke ngokukhuluma ke yebo ke sasikhuluma ke noma sixoxa ke, kodwa uma sekufinele ukuthini ke manje asayindeke noma kuthathwe wona ke ama fingerprints ila wavele nje wahamba khona ke. I don't remember what is done on the day. Oh, okay. Engakhumbuli ukuthi kwenzeka ke ngalelo langa ukuthathwa kwalo ke ulibofuzo noma ke iDNA angikhumbuli ukuthi kwenzeka ngalelo langa.
Yes.
My Lord, yeah, so we didn't get any results there. And then the last person that I recall that we visited is accused 4, which I think would have been on the 6th of July, 2020. He was incarcerated at Lyoko Prison here in Johannesburg.
Lapho ke njengoba ngisho ukuthi akunamiphumela eyatholakala noma eyabakhona ke umuntu ke wagcina ke ekwayiwa ke nake umsolwa wesine kwakungeyi6 zika July 2020 kwijele iLyoko ela eGoli.
Lieutenant Colonel Mangena, my lords, did the same exercise of measurement, and then Sergeant Sia, who was also present, assisted with the DNA, my lord, of accused 4.
Lieutenant Colonel Mangena uyena ke owenza ke lo msebenzi lowo ke ukuthi ke amkaleke bese ukuthi ke uSergeant Sia uyena ke owenza ke okwama DNA.
My lord, my recollection is that I dealt with the warning statement as well of accused number 4.
Ukhumbula kwami ke ukuthi nakuyena ke umsolo wesine ke ngokuphathelene nayo ke i-warning statement imina ke owakwenza lokho.
As a court, please, my lord, will this be an appropriate time to call it a day for today? We'll continue tomorrow.
Is that so? What's your time now?
It's 15:11. Miss wants to say something.
What's that?
Oh, I thought everything.
I nearly said something. Okay. Adjournment. Tomorrow.